There is a place in the ocean that has never known a true day and never known a true night. It begins 200 meters beneath the waves, and it goes down for another 800. Sailors never named it. Maps never marked it. For most of human history, we did not know it was there at all. Scientists call it the Twilight Zone, the mesopelagic, the place where the light gives up. And tonight, we are going to drift through it, slowly, the way its inhabitants do. Let us begin where the blue still remembers the sun. At 200 meters, you can still see, barely. The water here holds a color that does not exist anywhere else on Earth. Not blue, not black, something in between. A deep, cold indigo that seems to hum. The sun is still up there, somewhere. But by the time its light reaches this depth, 99% of it is gone. Absorbed, scattered, swallowed by the water above. Red vanished first, then orange, then yellow and green. What remains is a single narrow band of blue, and it is fading. Watch it now, because in a few hundred meters, it will be gone forever. Something moves at the edge of vision. A jellyfish, the size of a dinner plate, pulses past the lens. Its bell is almost perfectly transparent. Through it, you can see the water on the other side. This is not decoration. This is armor. In a world where the only light comes from above, to be transparent is to be invisible. Nothing can eat what it cannot see, and so here, evolution made glass. 300 meters. The indigo deepens. Now the strange ones begin to appear. A crustacean drifts by. Too long, too thin, its legs trailing behind it like threads of spun sugar. Its body is the color of old bone. Its eyes, enormous, black, and completely still. Nothing here hurries. Nothing here wastes a single movement. And it is not alone. The Twilight Zone is where the ocean gets strange with its architecture. Here is a creature that is almost entirely legs. Here is one shaped like a comb. Here is an amphipod, a distant cousin of the shrimp, with a body so clear you can watch its stomach digest. There is a sea spider down here whose legs span the width of a dinner plate, and which has no lungs, no gills, and no heart. It absorbs oxygen directly through its skin and moves its blood by flexing its own legs. None of these designs would work on the surface. All of them work perfectly here. Food is rare in the Twilight Zone. It falls from above, slowly, in fragments. To chase something and fail could cost more energy than the meal would have provided. So the animals here have learned the discipline of stillness. They wait, they drift, and when the moment comes, they are already exactly where they need to be. 400 meters, and here we cross a border that has no sign. Above us, the last true daylight. Below us, a world lit only by living things. The first flash appears somewhere off to the left. Blue, cold, gone almost before the eye registers it. Then another, and another. Bioluminescence. 9 out of every 10 creatures in this water can make their own light. Think about that for a moment. On the surface world, light comes from the sky. Here, light comes from bodies, from skin, from organs grown for no other purpose than to glow. It is the most common form of communication on Earth, and almost no human being has ever seen it with their own eyes. 500 meters, halfway down. A siphonophore passes beneath us. It looks like a single animal. It is not. It is a colony. Thousands of individual bodies, each one specialized, each one connected, drifting together as a single chain of light. Some are built only to swim, some only to hunt, some only to reproduce. None of them could survive alone. The longest ever recorded stretched more than 40 meters, longer than a blue whale, and it doesn't swim. It waits, trailing a curtain of stinging threads through the dark, and lets the ocean bring dinner to it. 600 meters. The water pressure here is 60 times what you feel at the surface, enough to fold a steel drum flat. And yet the animals here are soft, fragile, made of little more than water and nerve. That is the trick. There is nothing inside them to crush, no air, no hollow spaces. They are the same density as the sea itself, and so the sea cannot break them. They survive by having nothing to defend. And it is snowing. It is always snowing here. Look closely at the water in the beam of our lights. Those drifting white flecks are not dust. They are the remains of the world above, fragments of dead plankton, scales, shells, the discarded shells of creatures that lived in sunlight and died there. Scientists call it marine snow. It falls for weeks, sometimes months, drifting downward through this entire zone, feeding almost everything in it. Every animal we have seen tonight is in some way eating sunlight. Sunlight that died long ago and has been falling ever since. Look up now, above you. There is a faint, even glow, the very last of the surface light, spread thin across the ceiling of the world. And in that glow, silhouettes. Every predator down here knows to look upward. A body against that faint light is a body revealed. So the hunted learn to erase themselves. The hatchetfish carries rows of tiny lights along its belly and adjusts their brightness to match the water above it, until its own outline simply disappears. It hides by glowing. There is a squid down here with two different eyes. The left one is enormous, yellow, and permanently aimed upward, scanning for silhouettes against the failing light. The right one is small, ordinary, and points down into the black, watching for the flashes of bioluminescence below. It swims tilted at an angle, forever. One eye for the last of the sun, one eye for the dark. It lives on the border of two worlds, and it refuses to choose between them. Sailors who saw them in nets called them cockeyed squid and assumed they were deformed. They were not deformed. They were perfectly adapted to a place those sailors could not imagine. 700 meters. The blue is almost gone now. Only an idea of it remains, more memory than color. And in this near total dark, the largest migration on Earth is about to begin. As the sun sets on the surface far above, billions of animals rise from the twilight zone toward the shallows to feed. Lanternfish, squid, shrimp, jellyfish, creatures beyond counting. They climb hundreds of meters in the dark. They feed under cover of night. And before dawn, they descend again, back into the safety of the shadow. It happens every night. It has happened every night for millions of years. It is the largest movement of living things on this planet, and it takes place entirely out of sight. Sonar operators in the Second World War found something they could not explain. A false seafloor that rose every evening and sank every morning. They called it the deep scattering layer. They thought their instruments were broken. They were not. They had simply found the migration. 800 meters. The jellyfish here have stopped being transparent. They are red now. Deep, blood red, almost black. It seems like the worst possible choice, until you remember that red light does not exist at this depth. There is no red down here to reflect, and so a red animal in a blue world is invisible. They did not choose the color to be seen. They chose it to vanish. And listen, we think of the deep ocean as silent. It is not. Sound travels faster and further in water than it does in air. At around 1,000 meters, there is a layer where sound becomes trapped, bent by temperature and pressure into a channel it cannot escape. A single low call, released into that layer, can travel thousands of kilometers. Whales have known this for longer than humans have had language. They drop into this depth and speak to one another across entire oceans. We only discovered the channel in the last century. They had been using it for millions of years. 900 meters. Something enormous passes below us. We do not see it. We feel it. A displacement of water, a shape sensed rather than observed. And then, nothing. This happens often in the Twilight Zone. Cameras record the movement, the pressure sensors record the mass, and the creature itself is simply never identified. There are animals down here with no names, not because we have forgotten them, but because we have not yet met them. 1,000 meters, the blue is finished. There is no gradient now, no fading, just black. Behind us, the Twilight Zone. Ahead of us, the Midnight Zone, where sunlight has never reached and never will. We stop here, at the border. Look back the way we came, at that thin, dying column of blue. That is the last light. Everything beyond this point makes its own. Consider what we drifted through tonight. an animal that made itself out of glass, a colony longer than a whale that has never had a single thought, a fish that hides by glowing, a migration of billions that no one has ever watched. All of it in the one part of the ocean that is not even deep. The Twilight Zone holds more fish than every other part of the ocean combined. It may contain more animal life than anywhere else on the planet, and we have explored almost none of it. Every camera we lower here comes back with something we cannot name. The blue is gone now. Only the glow remains. Small, patient, unhurried, waiting in water that has never been still. Somewhere out there, in the dark below us, something is watching the light we brought with us, and it is deciding whether to come closer. Welcome to the deep unknown.